1, 2, 3, 4. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds sitting on my doorstep, singing those sweet songs, melodies pure and true. They say, and this is our message to you. Now, who don't worry about a thing. Every little thing gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing gonna be alright. We'll rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds perched on a doorstep, they're singing those sweet songs of melodies pure and true. They say, and this is our message to you. Don't worry. Hey, how's it, everyone? Mr. Pat, One Boys and Girls Club, right back at you here. New week, new lessons. That's a Bob Marley song, Three Little Birds. And that's what we should be doing right now. Not worry, taking care of ourselves, but worry doesn't help us. Just following the right directions, being smart does. I'm going to spin this. We're going to get into the algebra. I promised you a little earlier about the quadratic functions, different kind of graphing. It'll take a few days, day 1, day 2, and day 3 at least. This is straight from 4th quarter of your 8th grade algebra class. So it's pertinent to what you would be doing if you were in school right now. So I'm going to spin this. Show the board here. For participating in this, you can, write that quadratic functions and notice the form it's in. That's going to matter. So we're looking at this y equal x squared plus c. There's no regular x, just the x squared and the c. The x squared is what basically makes it a quadratic function. Okay, so having said that, what we're going to do is you're going to see how these graphs come out. You'll see a more complicated version starting tomorrow, but for today, this is a special one where there's no regular x. There's an x squared and there's a plain old number. You don't really know what I'm talking about yet, but I'll show you with an example. And when I show you the example, to graph that, we are going to use a table, which is this thing up here. So we're just going to start with one example and dive right in, because that's the easiest way to do this. Okay, so let's look at number 1. So you're going y equals, ready? X squared minus 4. So this is kind of like what you've been doing. The only difference is it's x squared now. Now, what you're going to see tomorrow is you're going to see things like y equals x squared plus 3x plus 4, where there's an x term in the middle. That's what I'm referring to. These don't have that. So this graph here is handled differently than that. The way to do one where you have the squared, the plain old number, but nothing else is this table. So I'm going to show you this one. What we're going to do is we're going to make a table. We're going to put 0 here in the middle. 1, 2, 3. Those are going to be our x values. And then we're going to like reflect this. It's the same numbers but the opposites. And we're going to put those x values into this equation and see what y values come out. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. Y equals, I'm going to make a box here to stand for the x squared. And then I'm going to put numbers from here in there. Okay, so we'll start in the middle with 0. So 0 squared, 0 times 0 is just 0. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. So when y is 0, when x is 0, when x is 0, y is negative 4. So I put a negative 4 up there. Got it? Okay. So now we're going to erase this. And we'll put 1. So now we're putting the 1 here. 1 squared, 1 times 1 is 1. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. So when x is 1, y comes out to be negative 3. So far, so good. Okay. And you know what's coming next. Let's move down the line and we'll get 2. So y equals 2 squared. I'm putting x as 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. So when x is 2, the y value is 0. So far, so good. And then that trend continues here. We keep doing the same thing. Put your 3 in there. You can use whatever numbers you want. This satisfies what we want to get done here, though. So it's a perfect x choice. 3 times 3, 3 squared. Make sure you don't write 6. It's not 3 times 2. It's 3 times 3, which is 9. So in this case, y will equal 5. So when x is 3, y is 5. So now things get a little interesting. So we're going to go to the negative side. So I'm going to erase all this so we have a little more room to work so I can prove something to you. So now we're going to pick x is negative 1. So negative 1 squared means negative 1 times negative 1. Right? Whatever x is times itself. So that's a positive 1. So when x is negative 1, y is negative 3. Okay, so you got to be careful with that multiplication, that's all. Okay, let's just keep doing all this in green. That works. Okay, let me erase that. And naturally we're going to go to negative 2. So this means negative 2 times itself. So that's 4. So y equals 4 minus 4 equals 0. So check this out. Look at here's the 0. Then 1 and negative 1 have the same value. 2 and negative 2 have the same value. So if that trend holds, that'll be a 5. But we got to investigate to know. So we're going to put a negative 3 there. So that's negative 3 times negative 3. The abolish the 9 like that, right? Okay, 9 minus 4 is 5. That's what we're wondering. So this is a true statement. On these equations, if you do the right side, it reflects over and you got the left side. Okay, so these should match and be symmetrical. So we're going to use this to make a graph. And what I want you to do is put the points, but don't draw your line yet. Okay, so you got to graph carefully here. Where's my orange? Actually, I'll go ahead and use the green. So 0, -4, 0, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my first point. Then 1 over, and then I go 3 down. That's my second point. 2 over, and it goes to 0. 3 over, and it goes up to 5. Somewhere right around there. Now that is not in a straight line. Kind of a curve. So check the other one. -1, -3 means 1 to the left and 3 down. So it's like this balanced over here. -2 is 0. So it's like this point balanced over here. And then -3, you're going up to 5. So it's like that point. So if you look at these things right here. So they're clearly not in a straight line. And what you're going to try to do is connect them, not with a V. That is not what you want. Because they're not straight line points. There's a curve. So you're trying to make like a U that goes and follows this pattern. So you're going to do your best. You come up here. You go down. You curve it at the bottom. And then you go back up. Okay. So that's how these graphs look. If you were a computer, you could draw it perfectly. One of the hardest parts about this is actually making that thing. So a lot of students draw V's and it's not a V. And then this trend would keep up. So this has a special name. This graph is called parabola. So you are graphing parabolic functions, quadratic functions. Okay, when you see that squared, you're going to see curved lines. And the first day, this is the kind that they will all be. Okay, so I want to do one more and show you. Now what's going to happen today is these are just going to move up and down the y-axis. Okay, so if you're following this on your school website lessons, you'll see the same thing happening. They might be wider, they might be narrower, they might flip up and down, but basically they're going to stay centered on this. Tomorrow I'll talk to you about the axis of symmetry, vertex, things like that. For today, this is just a good starting point. Okay, guys, all right? Okay, let's do one more example here. So I'm going to slide that back. And for example 2, here's what's cool. We're going to keep the same x's, but we're going to get different y's. Okay, let's do this. Let's do y equals -2x squared plus 7. Okay, so that's the second example we'll do. That should be enough for one day. You guys all right? I'll show you something at the end. We won't graph it, but I'll show you how to make sure you do something right. Okay, so you get y by itself. Both of these started that way. I forgot to add, you have to do that. I'll expound on that a little bit. But for now, y is by itself, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go like this, put my -2, a big box, plus 7. So now my x values are going to go right there. Okay? So here we go. Let's start with 0 again. Okay, we forgot to put the squared, Mr. Pat. Thank you for catching that. It's negative 2x squared. I forgot that squared right there. Make sure you do not forget. If you did, stop and add it in now. Very important. Bad thing to forget. So negative 2 times whatever 0 squared is. 0 squared is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. So negative 2 times 0 is still 0. So y equals 7. So when x is 0 in this problem, y is 7. Okay. Put a 1. Next value. Negative 2 times 1 squared. So 1 times 1 is 1. So this is negative 2 times 1 plus 7. So that's negative 2 plus 7, which is positive 5. So when x is positive 1, we get y is 5. See what we got here. Keep that bugger going. X going to be 2. So 2 squared is 4. 2 to the second power is 4. So negative 2 times 4 plus 7, that's negative 8. Plus 7, that's negative 1. So interestingly, when this goes big, this just got smaller. In fact, all the way to a negative value. So anytime something like that happens, I check myself. So I put the 2 in there. 2 squared is 4. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Plus 7, negative 1. Okay, I did it right. It's always a good idea to step back and check your steps as you go. It's a very smart thing to do. So when x is 2, y is negative 1. Jamming, brah. Okay, last one we're going to do on the right side is 3. So remember, 3 second power is not 6, it's 9. So 3 squared is 9. Negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. Whoa, dude. Plus 7 is negative 11. That's a big one. Negative 11. Okay. Bam. All right. Doing good. So here's what we got. We got to see about the other side. So I'm going to take a shot here. I'm going to pick one of these and see if it matches up. So let's do negative 3. So this is negative 3 times negative 3. Second power. So that's 9. Okay. Then I multiply it by negative 2 and add 7. So negative 3 squared is positive 9. So I got negative 18 plus 7. So again, I got negative 11. So I'm telling you right now, you can verify all of them for yourself, but these will be mirror images. Okay, you can verify one more just to be sure. Okay, so we're going to put a negative 2 here. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So negative 2 squared is positive 4. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Bam. Negative 1. Boop. Got it. So I'm going to go ahead and know that this one's going to be 5. And it will. Okay. All right. So let's see what this graph ends up looking like. I'll do it. You know, I'll graph it in green. So what we're going to do is graph this thing. So let's start 0, 7. So I'm going to start on the 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 5. So 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 2, -1. Interesting. It goes negative already. And then 3 and -11. See if I got 11 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Here's 11 all the way down here. So I go for 3, -11. That's like over here. Okay. So, okay, so the left side is going to match up. So this is going to be symmetrical with that one. -2, -1. Okay, negative. Okay, negative. You guys are right. Yeah, -1, 5 we had already. And then -3, -11. So again, it's going to go all the way down here. So if you look at this one's a trip. So this thing goes like this. So this graph is going to be upside down U. Okay? So I left that orange one so you could see the contrast stuff. So this one, you're going to try to go up here, connect those things, come down, straight through the parabolic function. And then you can go ahead and draw these arrows at the end because they do keep going. So this U points upside down. So that can happen. You could get some that get wider. You could get some that get narrower, like I said. They might point up. They might point down. You'll learn the whys and the ins and outs of all that. We're just trying to give you a little bit of experience and heads up on it. Okay, I want to finish with one thing. We're not going to graph this for parabola straight through the A, but we're going to leave them like that, straight through the A. Okay, so here, let's look at number 3. Okay, I'm going to show you something here. 2y minus x squared equals 6. This one you can't do anything, or you shouldn't do anything with yet. It's going to be humbug. So what you want to do first in this is get y by itself. So I want to have y all alone. So I got to get rid of that x squared. So I'm going to, since it's a minus x squared, I'm going to add x squared to both sides. So what that will do would cancel those out. So I'll get 2y equals, and I like to write the x squared term first. Okay, these are not like terms, so you can't say 6x squared. You have to have them separate. Still not done, though. Now, if you remember when we were solving equations, it's 2y. So to get rid of that 2 times y, we want to divide by 2. But we're going to divide everything by 2. So what that does is, yay, I got y by itself. Okay. And over here, I'm going to go ahead and do the easy part. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So check this out. Okay. Remember, there's a 1 there. So what this means is 1/2 x squared. I wanted to show you that. This is one of those, you still do it. You just got to take half of something. So for instance, if I put a 2 in here, let's say I just put that number, the x is 2. So 2 squared plus 3, but I want half of that. So 2 squared is 4, but I'm only going to take half of it. Half of 4 is 2, so it would be 5 here. That's a whole nother ball game. What I wanted you to see mostly was you can't do these table things until you get y by itself. Okay, hope that wasn't too much for you. All right, just a heads up on all these. I'm not replacing your algebra course. I'm just giving you a little accent for it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. And remember what we said at the beginning of this, quoting Bob Marley. Don't you worry about a thing. Every little thing gonna be alright. Don't you worry about a thing, no. Every little thing gonna be alright. Yeah, yeah, gonna be alright. Alright, everyone, aloha. Mr. Pat from the Boys and Girls Club. See you tomorrow. We're going to do the more complicated version. I don't know what song I'm going to play yet. I'll figure something out. Hope you're enjoying that too. Hope you're sticking around and looking at the math and picking up some skills there. Okay, aloha.